When I was 24 weeks pregnant with twins, I was assaulted by the father of my children.
As a teenager, I got involved with a boy, and after 9 years of a relationship that was full of emotional and some physical abuse, he shot me. And I was 24 at the time.
My 15-year-old sister was home alone, doing what a 15-year-old is supposed to do on a beautiful summer day, and somebody came into our home and brutally raped and murdered her.
When my daughter was 7 years old, she came to me and let me know that my brother-in-law had been molesting her.
I was walking home from the library and a man jumped out of his car and ran up behind me and tried to pull down my shorts.
I was holding my, at the time, 1-year-old when he attacked me. He threw me onto the bed, he choked me, he landed on my stomach, which caused trauma to my womb.
And then all I see is him push my mom to the bed as my baby sister is in her arms.
My sister was stabbed over 70 times, raped, beaten to death, and laid there for up to 2 hours before she actually died.
When he landed on my stomach after he had pushed me down, it caused one of my twins' sac to rupture early, which caused them to be born prematurely.
He stayed hovering over me until I jumped up and ran after him, which led the police to believe he intended to rape.
The only thing I remember feeling is I do not want to die.
And I was extremely scared. I thought that my twins were going to die.
I was 11, and I knew that day my world changed.
You're in shock, complete shock. So your feelings as a mom, you obviously think you've heard stories and you think that you would be feeling some way, one way or the other, and you just go numb. You just go, because it's unbelievable that it would ever happen to me and our family and to her, that it would ever happen to her.
There's 130 people gathered here today in a call to action to bring a Family Justice Center here to Ventura County. Family Justice Centers provide a myriad of services all under one roof for victims of domestic violence, victims of human trafficking, sexual assault, and victims of dependent and elder care. Conceptually, what this program does is embolden and strengthen and help victims move beyond the trauma that they had suffered in their victimization. So today, we're meeting to develop the strategy and to begin the plans towards bringing such a facility here to Ventura County.
For me, the statistics are pretty compelling. Just in our city alone, our officers respond to over 400 domestic violence incidents every single month. So almost 5,000 a year. We know nationally 1 in 3 women are victims of some type of abuse. We also know nationally 15 million kids a year are exposed to domestic violence.
It will be a site where we will be able to provide care to them without re-traumatizing them. We see patients who are traumatized from the initial domestic violence incident, and some of them don't want to come forth to get taken care of. We take care of them and put them out into the community, and it's always best to be able to have one area where they can be taken care of without added stress.
The Family Justice Center is important, I think, for all victims in the County of Ventura. They already have experienced multiple trauma in their lives, and this makes it easier for them to navigate the system. They don't have to go to several different places. They don't have to repeat their story several different times to become re-traumatized. So it's just a much easier system for our victims.
So what I'm excited the most is about Family Justice Center providing an opportunity for our partners, all of the partners who are working in the community, to provide services to better the community. And it provides an opportunity to really co-integrate rather than co-locate, which is part of the work that we're doing now.
A benefit for the community, for the seniors and adults with disabilities, is that they can come to one center for one-stop shop approach and be able to access a myriad of resources that they need to be able to live independently and age with dignity and grace.
I think it would be more helpful for our elder victims because you've come to a place where more people are educated about elder and dependent adult abuse specifically. So they're more attuned to what the senior needs, that they need a more quiet area, that they need an ability to speak one-on-one with somebody.
So in law enforcement, we talk about crime prevention. We talk about you have to go further up the river to prevent the violence from occurring. And kids that are exposed to domestic violence, they learn either as a perpetrator that violence is how you resolve incidents, or also you have kids can learn that victimization becomes more of a normal routine, that's the way life is. Sometimes you have to be a victim. And so if we're able to do a better job of kind of resolving it there, kind of putting a stop to it there, the violence, we can change the culture in our communities.
I think a family justice center is really important in Ventura County specifically because we're such a diverse area, and disability, for example, is a co-culture that's evident in every culture, and they all experience it in different ways. And so having a family justice center that is trained and ready to help individuals with disabilities among all different types of cultures is really important. People with disabilities are 3 times more likely to be victimized in their life, and having some place to go that they know they're going to feel understood is really, really important.
So as a pediatrician, I care for children, and particularly I care for kids who are victims of maltreatment. And those kids come in all shapes and sizes. Premature babies, toddlers, school-age kids, up through high school kids can all be victims of child maltreatment. And the type of maltreatment varies. It can be emotional neglect, it can be physical neglect, not enough food. It can be actual frank abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse, or sexual abuse. And obviously those challenges lead to lifelong changes for those kids, and we need to provide them support and get them out of those situations. But it's not just maltreatment that's a problem. It's the other adverse experiences that they're exposed to within the home, the mental illness of a parent, the divorce, domestic violence. If the mom's a victim of domestic violence, has huge long-term consequences for these kids. Incarceration of a parent. And we know that the kids who have these experiences start having risky behaviors in life. They are the ones with more sexual partners. They're the ones who start using alcohol and drugs and become homeless. And what's really shocking is that as you start to add up these adverse childhood experiences, the maltreatment, the difficult home situations, these kids start to develop medical illnesses at rates much higher than those who aren't exposed. So we're talking about diabetes, heart disease, emphysema, suicidality, depression. And the kids who have the highest rates of exposure to adverse childhood experiences have a 20-year shorter lifespan than those who have 0.
Government agencies, non-government agencies that are for the first time talking about a bigger framework on how to work together to change the ending for victims of sexual assault, domestic violence, child abuse, human trafficking. They're doing this today. I've never seen a vision statement like what we've seen here that's up on that wall. That vision, that's a stunning vision for Ventura County, and I'm very excited to see what's going to happen here. I believe Ventura County can create a family justice center that will be a model for the nation.
I see the Family Justice Center as being a central location where survivors can come and help new victims and help them navigate through all the changes and things that are going to happen in their lives as they rebuild.
The whole process is scary and confusing. You don't know what questions to ask. You don't know where to go. You need that center and one person or people to guide you through the whole process.
A family justice center in our community would provide a lot of resources and make it so that the situation that's already happened, or the bad situation, might make it a little easier.
I mean, I understand why the justice system works the way it does, but unfortunately for us, it was a 3.5-year long process. So the Family Justice Center to us would be a more streamlined place that we could go instead of having to go to all the different places that we did and go all over town and be in a better environment for not just myself, but not just for my daughter, but for myself and my other children and my husband and all of us that went through this. When a crime like this occurs, it's not just against my daughter. This is a crime against all of us as a family. And the Justice Center to us would mean that maybe another family wouldn't have to go through what we went through, and that they would have a safe place to go and continue the journey that we had to.
For us specifically, we went 33 years without my sister's case being solved. And my message would be never give up hope.